Have you ever felt like you're trapped in a relationship where your emotions no longer seem to be your own? They give you just enough attention to keep you hooked, just enough guilt to make you question yourself, and just enough confusion to leave you feeling powerless. What if I told you that all of this is part of a carefully calculated plan? That there's a manipulator lurking in the shadows, skillfully orchestrating your emotions to serve their own agenda. Today we'll pull back the curtain and uncover the sophisticated tactics narcissists use to nurture you, manipulate you, and ultimately exploit you. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss upcoming videos where we'll learn how to identify, confront, and escape these psychological traps. Let's get started. They attack with the hot and cold strategy. Think back to the early days when you first met them. The narcissist seemed like a dream come true, donning a polished mask of charm and whispering honeyed words into your ears. They showered you with compliments, gazes filled with passion, and painted a vibrant picture of a future where you were destined for each other, where no one in the world could love you like they did. Each unexpected gift, gentle embrace, and sweet murmur of affection felt like a drug, pulling you deeper into the illusion of love they had painstakingly crafted. But beneath that dazzling exterior lay a meticulously calculated plan. From the very first moment they studied you as if you were prey. They astutely read your vulnerabilities, your fears, and tested your limits to gauge just how much you were willing to sacrifice. They constantly manipulated you, probing to see if you were tolerant enough, patient enough, and submissive enough to serve as an endless supply of validation for their distorted ego. And then, when you were completely ensnared, when your heart was firmly in their grip, everything began to shift. The mask fell, and their true nature started to surface. The devaluation phase began subtly. Bit by bit, they created distance, dimming the initial sweetness and leaving you in a state of longing. You found yourself yearning to return to those passionate early days, questioning what you did wrong and striving to fix yourself in hopes of but every effort you made only pulled you deeper into their emotional trap. When you mustered the courage to think about walking away, they switched tactics. They returned to the role of the perfect partner, showering you with tearful apologies and promising to change. They gave you gifts and performed romantic gestures, convincing you that they had seen the error of their ways. Memories of those beautiful early days came rushing back, drawing you back into their arms. This is the cycle of trauma bonding, a dysfunctional attachment pattern studied by psychologists. But every time you choose to return to the narcissist, your value in their eyes diminishes further. They begin to see you as nothing more than a pitiful, dependent prey, incapable of standing on your own. The scariest part? You often mistake this toxic bond for love. You start to justify their actions, telling yourself they're just under pressure, that things will improve, and that if you can just endure a little longer, wait a little more, your love will return to the way it once was. The harsh truth, however, is far more brutal. Their core nature doesn't change, only the methods they use to manipulate you evolve. And here's where things get critical. Don't take your eyes off the screen. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the schemes narcissists use to keep you ensnared in their toxic whirlwind. Let's uncover more of their tactics together. They manipulate you with silence. Narcissists are masterful artists in wielding silence as a weapon to control others. They don't speak, they don't explain, they simply vanish from the conversation, leaving you floundering in a whirlwind of chaotic emotions. What's their goal? To make you agonize, blame yourself, and ultimately beg for their attention. The more silent they are, the more control they gain. The more confused you become, the more powerful they feel. They take pleasure in watching you struggle in the fog of uncertainty, insecurity, and desperation, as you search for answers to the very questions they have deliberately created. Don't waste your energy trying to decipher the reasons behind their silence, because, quite simply, there are none. They are silent because they choose to be, because they want to punish you, to make you afraid. To them, silence is a potent weapon to manipulate, dominate, and crush your self-esteem. This silence is a reflection of their own unhealed wounds and a distorted ego that constantly craves attention and admiration. They are silent not because of you, but because of themselves. Their refusal to communicate is not due to any mistake you have made, but is instead designed to elicit the reactions they desire: anxiety, despair, and pleading. Each desperate plea from you feeds their fractured ego, affirming the illusion of power and dominance they so desperately crave. Narcissists know how to transform their silence into a tool of control. Your body enters a constant state of stress. Cortisol, the stress hormone, floods your bloodstream. You feel lost and insecure, yearning for a word, a message, or any sign that they are still there. You start compulsively checking your phone, scouring emails, hoping to find even the smallest sign of attention to soothe your anxiety. But their silence only stretches on, and the longer it lasts, the deeper you sink into a spiral of self-doubt and hopelessness. Their silence isn't a true disappearance, it's a calculated move to maintain control over you without saying a word. Every moment you wait, every attempt you make to contact them, reinforces their sense of dominance. They turn you into a puppet in their twisted psychological game, a game with no end. They drive you to plead for their attention to the point where you lose sight of your own worth, forget who you are, and sink further into the endless vortex of unfulfilled longing. Their silence is not absence, it is manipulation at its most insidious. Recognizing this is the first step toward breaking free from their toxic grip. Stay tuned as we continue uncovering the tools narcissists use to trap and control you, so you can reclaim your power and rebuild your sense of self. That isolate you from other relationships? Narcissists don't just trap you in a mental prison, they ruthlessly sever every tie that connects you to the outside world. Like jealous monsters, they can't bear the thought of you finding joy, comfort, or even just a shoulder to lean on outside of their control. Friends, family, co-workers, anyone who was once a part of your life, become targets of their toxic narratives. They label these people as dangerous, toxic, or exploitative. They spin tales, plant seeds of doubt, and subtly yet effectively pull you away from those who genuinely care about you. Slowly, you start to distance yourself, not because you want to, but because you believe it's the right thing to do to protect yourself and to please them. In the darkness of isolation, you realize you're alone, confined in a narrow world they've meticulously constructed. Within this desolate space, you become the scapegoat for their endless frustrations. Every failure in their life, every insecurity they harbor, is laid at your feet. They lash out, criticize, and blame, while you silently endure it all as if it's your unavoidable duty. Gradually, you become a shadow of yourself, living in fear, afraid to speak your mind, and unable to express your true emotions. When you're drained and broken under the weight of their manipulation and abuse, you're struck by the stark realization of your solitude. What was supposed to be a sanctuary of love has become a prison of isolation and misery. I've seen far too many heartbreaking stories like this, victims entirely cut off from the world, turned into emotional slaves, spinning helplessly in the narcissist's toxic vortex. To these victims, the narcissist becomes their everything, their sky, their universe, their sole anchor in life. They blindly trust, submit completely, and place the narcissist's emotions above their own. They endure as unpaid servants, human ATMs, and reluctant participants in roles they never sought. These victims often forget what a healthy relationship truly looks like. They lose sight of what it means to be genuinely loved. A love that doesn't demand excessive sacrifice, doesn't bind, and doesn't cause pain. They forget the peace of a relationship where they are respected and protected, where they can simply be themselves, without fear or the need to desperately seek approval. But even in the darkest of places, a glimmer of hope can emerge. Awakening doesn't come easily, but when they begin to see that they deserve so much more, that love isn't abuse and respect isn't manipulation, they find the strength to break free. Only when they step out of the narcissist's shadow can they truly see the light of a life they deserve. A life filled with freedom, joy, and love that uplifts rather than confines. Stay tuned as we continue to shed light on the insidious tactics narcissists use and the steps you can take to reclaim your power and rediscover your true self. The Gaslighting Game. Undermining your worth to sow confusion. Narcissists are masters at manipulating emotions and perceptions, and gaslighting is one of their most insidious tools. They don't just dismiss your worth, they subtly distort reality, making you lose trust in your own judgment. Their attacks aren't blatant. Instead, they come in the form of seemingly harmless remarks that erode your self-esteem bit by bit. But when you express your feelings or opinions, they dismiss them. You're being too sensitive, no one else feels that way. When you catch them in a lie or wrong behavior, they deny it outright. That never happened, you're remembering it wrong. Even when you achieve success, they find ways to downplay it. That's not a big deal, anyone could have done that. This is how narcissists manipulate your perception, turning you into a puppet in their hands. They amplify your insecurities and flaws, not to help you improve, but to keep you trapped in dependency. They skillfully position themselves as the savior, the crutch you believe you can't live without, while they're the ones who metaphorically broke your legs in the first place. When you dream of pursuing new opportunities, their words extinguish your enthusiasm instead of encouraging you. You've never been good at handling stress. Do you think you can manage this? This subtle sowing of self-doubt chips away at your confidence, leaving you questioning your abilities. In the false reality they painstakingly construct, you feel small, weak, and incapable of surviving without them. Leaving them? That feels like an impossible task, because they've successfully programmed you to believe, without me, you're nothing. Over time, these words become like a slow drip poison, eroding your sense of self-worth little by little. You start to wonder if you really are too sensitive, too weak, or not good enough, just as they imply. This self-doubt infiltrates every corner of your mind, leaving you anxious and unsure of your own identity. You begin to seek their validation, unknowingly becoming more entrenched in their web of control. Narcissists use gaslighting not only to invalidate your worth, but to maintain power and dominance in the relationship. When you doubt yourself, they become the ultimate arbiter of your reality and emotions. In this psychological labyrinth, you feel trapped, small, inadequate, and powerless against their manipulative tactics. But remember, gaslighting is a weapon of weakness, not strength. Narcissists undermine your worth not because you're inadequate, but because they fear you discovering your true strength. They know that once you regain confidence in yourself, their mask of control will crumble. When that moment comes, you'll see the truth. You deserve a life free of manipulation and invalidation. A life where your feelings and thoughts are respected, where you are valued for who you truly are. Reclaiming your power starts with recognizing the toxic patterns and rediscovering the self-worth they worked so hard to obscure. You are stronger than their lies, and you are worthy of love, respect, and a life filled with authenticity and freedom. They use love as a gift to bestow. To a narcissist, love isn't a natural emotion flowing from the heart. It's a powerful gift they bestow. In their world, love isn't about mutual sharing or equal partnership. It's a privilege they grant you, one you're expected to be eternally grateful for. Being loved by them is treated as an honor badge you must protect at all costs, even if it means sacrificing your personal needs, self-respect, and freedom. They wield love as a tool of control, cultivating a sense of indebtedness within you, Words that seem full of affection often carry hidden messages. "I've done all of this because I love you, so why aren't you doing what I want?" Or, "Not everyone is worthy of my love like you are." These statements aren't affirmations of care, they're reminders that you're receiving a rare gift, and that it can be taken away if you don't play by their rules. In truth, the love they offer doesn't come from a place of understanding or acceptance of who you are. They love you not for your authentic self, but for how well you fit into the role they've crafted for you. If you step outside that mold, by expressing your own opinions, asserting personal needs, or failing to meet their expectations, that gift is swiftly withdrawn. This creates unbearable pressure, forcing you to tread carefully in every action and word to avoid displeasing them. You no longer feel loved. Instead, you feel indebted, a debt you can never fully repay. Real love, however, is not a power play or a commodity for trade. It isn't a one-sided transaction, but a shared experience between two independent, empathetic, and equal individuals. Love doesn't demand blind submission or unconditional gratitude. It's about mutual respect and a willingness to walk through life's highs and lows together. Remember, your worth isn't defined by someone else's decision to love you. You deserve to be loved sincerely, without conditions or strings attached. Don't let anyone make you feel that you must earn their love. A person who truly loves you will never make you doubt your own value. Instead, they will make you feel secure, cherished, and more confident with each passing day. True love is not a gift doled out from a pedestal. It is a light both people nurture together, illuminating a path where happiness and freedom grow hand in hand. Recognize your worth and don't settle for anything less than a love that uplifts and empowers you. Narcissists use finances to manipulate you. Narcissists often wield finances as a subtle yet powerful tool of control, turning your independence into an unattainable luxury. At first, they may appear generous, eagerly covering expenses to make you feel cared for and protected. They might say sweet things like, "You don't need to worry about anything, I'll take care of it," or "I do all this because I love you." But beneath this facade lies a carefully calculated plan to strip you of financial freedom, leaving you entirely dependent on them. Once they hold the reins of financial control, they begin to tighten the invisible chains. Every financial decision you make is scrutinized, from minor personal purchases to significant life plans like education or career choices. They may guilt-trip you for wanting to spend on yourself, or use money as a punishment, cutting off financial support when you displease them. Phrases like, "You're spending too much, you need to save," or "I work hard for this money," while you just enjoy it, don't just make you feel terrible, but gradually erode your voice in the relationship. They foster a sense that you can't survive without them, pushing you to comply and endure for the sake of financial security. In more extreme cases, they isolate you from opportunities to earn your own income. They might pressure you to leave your job or prevent you from accessing independent financial resources, ensuring you have no means to stand on your own. By doing so, they trap you in a toxic relationship, knowing you lack the financial ability to lead. Financial manipulation is more than just abuse of power. It's a form of psychological exploitation. It fosters feelings of helplessness and strips you of control over your own life. But remember, your financial status does not determine your worth. Even if you're in a situation of dependency, you still have the right to reclaim your independence and find ways to break free from this control. Take a stand, seek support from family, friends, or professionals if needed. Financial independence isn't just a right. It's the foundation for building a self-sufficient life, free from anyone's domination. You deserve to live a life of freedom and happiness, not under the shadow of someone else's control. Reclaiming your financial autonomy is a step toward reclaiming your power, your choices, and your future. Understanding how a narcissist is feeding off you is not just the first step, but also the key to regaining control of your life. When you realize that they use love, praise, or finances as tools of manipulation to maintain power, you begin to see clearly the toxic cycle they create. Their power doesn't lie in themselves, but in the belief you are trapped by, the belief that you need them to survive, to feel loved, or to find your worth. But the truth is, you don't need them. You always have the freedom to choose and the ability to break free. The first step is to stop providing their fuel. Don't overreact, don't give them control over your emotions, and don't let them define your value. Instead, focus on rebuilding yourself. Restore your self-esteem, establish boundaries, and seek support from healthy relationships. Remember, you deserve a life free from control and manipulation. Cutting off the supply to the narcissist is the first step in reclaiming your light and inner peace. Each day you move forward is a day you reclaim your power, freedom, and true happiness. A life where you don't just exist but truly feel and enjoy living.